Okay. And we are recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Q3 Drama Podcast. Today's episode is going to be about Love Island Games Season 2. As always, as this podcast will always start, I'm going to sing a little part of a song, that is stuck in my head, and I'd like you to tell me either the name of the song or the artist in the comments. Today's little snippet will be we moving forward with maximum power and we gonna dominate pop it. Okay, so tell me in the comments what that's from. Now let's get into the episode. I'm here with my great friend MC and we're gonna talk about Love Island Games. Hello MC, how are you?
Doing great, Katamami. Happy to be here. And I think I know what song name that is, but I'll chat in the comments so only you and I can see.
Okay, great. So, big thoughts. How are you liking the season of Love Island Games so far?
So I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I think I got a few clips understanding of what Love Island Games season one was like, and I
Mhm.
have a pretty good understanding of some of the people coming in. But I do like how straightforward people have been, being like, I'm here for the money, I'm here for the love, or somewhere in between.
Yes, I think I appreciate that too. Last season, I think just because they didn't know what it was a mix. Like the most of the people were like, "I'm here for love. I'm a lover girl." Blah blah blah, and then it was kind of just like Johnny and then the UK guys who were saying, "No, let's get the money." And then the USA people got upset with the UK people for being all about the money. So I appreciate that this season cards are on the table.
Yeah, and they amped it up to $250,000. I feel like if anyone was 50-50 on it, once they hear that, they probably were like, okay, I'm here for the money.
Oh, actually, I think it's so funny that they won't just say $250,000. They're like, we're gonna make it sound like as much. I just thought that's really funny. $250,000. I'm like, why would you just say $250,000
A
just so
hundred
people can
percent.
hear the million, the
Yeah,
million in
a
their
hundred
heads?
percent. Even as it gets introduced to people who are like bombshells coming in, when I think about Justine and who had two wins on the season, it's kind of like, wait, what? Like double take?
Yes. Okay, well, let's start with we'll go couples and then individuals because a few people have migrated from couple to couple. So, first couple to talk about is Isaiah and Nicola. Isaiah is from season 4 of USA. Nicola is from, I believe, season 1 of Malta. What do you think about these two? Individually and, as a quote unquote couple.
Yeah, individually. So Isaiah, I believe, was number five in the challenge. And then obviously won a duel with Nicola. And ended the episode vulnerable. I feel like he wasn't giving me much. I feel like, there's a lot of entertaining people in the season. I feel like there's people that, whether it's for their approach to the game or their lack of self-awareness, but I feel like he's just kind of there a little bit. And I'm hoping to see more from him, but I'm not getting a ton right now. But for Nicola, I don't know. I one of my quotes I wrote down for Nicola was whenever she said, "I just want to win. Does that mean I'm competitive?" And I would love that energy for her. Like she's figuring out that she actually really really likes to be competitive, which is entertaining to see.
Yeah, I agree. Well, so far, the only things the things he's giving me are things that I don't want. So I don't like
Yep.
that he let me know he's a cheater, pumpkin eater. And I don't like that he has I know we're not supposed to judge people by their appearance, but I judge people who get certain hairstyles because they know what the reputation is, and his hairstyle is giving like, I'm gonna pretend to be nice, but later you'll learn that I'm a terrible person. But I don't know anything about him. I'm just saying the things he's giving me so far, I don't want them. Okay, and then Nicola. Initially, she started at a minus for me. Negative points because of the individual who she chose to do an impersonation of. It told me like, oh, you're you're consuming her content, you're watching her, so you're at a -10. But then when she started talking about how she was also kind of like, why am I here? She's like, I don't work out, I'm not athletic, but I'm here. She's at like a -2.
Yeah, yeah. It was a bold approach coming to America to be like, hey, I'm gonna do a impersonation of Kim K.
Yeah.
And you know what? It probably hits in Malta. But it was, and I think it was good. It was good. I was better than I thought it would be. But I agree, similar vibe. But it seems like I wanted to be here for love. So uh, do feel a little sad for her when Isaiah said not as interested in her. But I hope she can find somebody she connects to. But I am excited to see her journey of competition throughout this
Mm.
time.
Who did Isaiah say he was interested in?
Isaiah said he was interested in Solane a little bit at the end.
Oh.
Went up to Solane and was kind of asking questions, and Solane literally said she was interested in him in the like diary room, but or the confessional. But Solane said she wanted him to say that he likes her first, and he didn't say anything, so she was a little annoyed about that. But they both expressed interest when they were in the confessionals, but didn't say it out loud to each other. So we'll see how that goes a little bit.
Interesting. Oh, she's great.
I know she's entertaining.
Well, this might be a good time to transition to her. What do you think?
Yeah, we can definitely transition. I do want to say one of the my favorite what was that moments
Mm.
was in the first episode, Nicola dove headfirst into the slime. And I was like, I was worried something was gonna happen to her head. Like, I was very concerned. I'm glad you came out of it, but I just want to note that that was like a wild moment. And I'm glad you came out of it.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, we can go to Selene. What are you thinking about Selene? You said you like her a lot.
I like her. I think she's funny. When she first came in, I know I don't watch. I don't think I've. I guess UK is the inaugural, so I guess it's not technically an international season. But I haven't watched any of the other seasons, so I didn't know who she was. I'd
Yeah,
heard from a friend who watched Below Deck that she was a lot and they didn't like her, but that's all I knew. So coming in, I thought, well, I like her outfit. I like her confidence. I like that she's a little bit feisty with the guys.
yep,
I
yep,
feel like in particular with this show, you really need to you need to
yeah,
be a little strong with the men on this show. I will say, I know not all men, but just saying. And I like that she's tough with them. Um, yeah, I so far there isn't anything about her I don't like.
yeah. I love how confrontational she is. With Mutt being straightforward at the end of the episode when KK and Chris picked them, and she was like, "We're neighbors in bed. Why would you do this?" And I was just like, I think KK and Chris didn't know how to react to that. And I loved it. And I think there's a lot of things I like about her, and she seemed to get a lot of like people turning their heads in the challenge when she came, not challenge when she came in and started kissing everyone. But in terms of some of her like decision making, the fact that she's like the one person that wasn't making eye contact with me, oh, I want to pick him, was like that choice was a little bit like
Yeah.
wild. I understand the mystery, but the ensuing episodes, I was like, I feel like you might regret that choice.
Yeah, I thought, okay, you're right. I forgot about that. I remember thinking you could have just spoken to him later. You don't need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
couple up with him to understand why he's not making eye contact. I mean, I guess this might be I don't think it's bad to be delusionally confident, but this might be the delusionally confident con where an average person might say, "Oh, they aren't making eye contact with me because they don't want me. They want me to choose someone else. That's why they aren't looking at me." But I think when you're delusionally confident, you think they're not making eye contact because they don't want to fall in love with me because they
yeah.
know that if they look at me, they won't be able to
Yeah,
forget me.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
suspect that that's what was in her mind. She was like, "Oh my god, I'm so hot, and he can't even look at me."
He's scared to look. He's scared to look. Well, it's just funny because later when Isaiah is like kind of flirting a little bit, and she's like, "I want him to say that he likes me." And that might be because of the whole like approach with the Mert, and after being like totally wrong, it's like I need a clear cut answer here. And if that's the case, hey, she's growing, she's learning, and I
It's
love
true.
that for
It's true. It took her from
her.
delusionally confident to like regular confident.
Yes, yes. But I do think I think that there is one I think there's one toxic relationship so far in this show,
Mm.
and I think that is her and Mertz Oates. 100%. Like without a doubt. I feel like one, getting leftover oats being offered to you like after being forgotten is one thing. The second time when he offered oats to everyone, and they were like, "Oh, thank you so much. This is so great." And they just ended on the scene with her making a face when she was eating the oats. Like it was such a quick moment, but she does not like those oats at all. I don't know if it's Love Island like season. Like I know in US like avocado toast is like the go-to. And maybe oats is the go-to for him in his seasons, but it's not hitting the way it it is. It's not hitting for anyone here, but especially her.
Yeah. Oats are not a very, romantic dish. At least with avocado toast, you can sprinkle a little pepper. There's a little something there. Oats are
Little
already
spice.
not very romantic.
Yeah, yeah,
Mert is, oh yes, I forgot. So Len is from France. Mert is from, I believe it's Netherlands season. Lucinda's UK. So Mert Mert is interesting to me. He's not a mystery. He's just, I mean, maybe a mystery in the sense that he behaves in a way that I'm not used to on Love Island. So I'm a
yeah,
little bit like, I thought you were going to be just the bro, but he's showing that he's a little bit shy, but also he doesn't really understand human dynamics because yeah, why would you give even if I were in a strong couple, I think I would side eye someone who gave someone a bite of my food first and then gave it to me. Like,
yeah,
germs.
yeah,
Even if I
yes,
don't feel like a dog, like why would you do that? And then
yes,
he seems confused. He seems like he can take a note, but it seemed like he didn't really understand what the problem was.
yeah, yeah. He was. I think. I was it like KK and someone else were talking to him, being like, "Hey, so
Yeah.
just so you know, she was not happy when you offered the leftover oats." And he was like, "Oh, it was just like you needed to be told that. Like, you couldn't realize that by yourself."
Right.
Um, uh, he's a.
And
I
yeah, I'm
do.
like, you're right though. Maybe oats is a very popular dish. I mean,
Yeah,
oatmeal is popular everywhere, but maybe oatmeal for your romantic interest is a
you
thing in
know.
the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I haven't kept an eye on what Garby is eating in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Just to get a lay of the land here
Yeah,
of what like
Garby might be like
food.
avocado toast. Oh, I
Yeah,
wish he'd brought me
yeah.
oatmeal. It would have showed that he loved me.
Yeah, yeah. I do feel I think for anyone coming from another country too who when
Yeah,
English isn't their first language, I
yeah,
I do feel for them because I feel like, how connecting to people and talking through these
Mhm.
things I'm sure is difficult. And
yeah,
so knowing it was his third language too, like I want to make
yeah,
sure to give that understanding and grace for him and he's like
yeah.
navigating that. But I did want to note that something that he did say, I'm somebody who has enjoyed watching soccer, football, as they call it in other countries. And he said he was a footballer. So I looked up
Mhm.
his name and I could not find him anywhere. So he says he's a footballer, but I want to know what. For what? Like, was it on a rec league, or was it like, was it like a professionally? Like, I mean, he might be. This might be another league, but I couldn't see anything
Hmm.
about it. But he seems, he doesn't. He's not giving a lot, but he also seems like I didn't think he was that into Lucinda, and then suddenly he was. So I hope it works out for them, but he seems sad not being with her. So I'm kind of like, okay, just let them be together.
He does. I will say he seems sweet. He seems like he's shy and sweet. And I think you're right too that yeah, he's in a different country than the one he's used to being in, and yeah, English is his third language, which is impressive. But also, everyone is and on top of that, he's also in a place where everyone is speaking English, but they all have different accents and dialects. Like that's tough. That's tough,
Yeah,
even for English is my first language, and I usually have to have subtitles on because I'm like, I don't really understand what this person is saying.
yeah,
So yeah, I think you're right that he's having to navigate a lot,
yeah,
and I think he's shy. And you're right. It did seem. I think he he might be one of those people who's kind of like, but I chose you, but she was the person I'm going to be in the couple with for the
Yeah,
duration of this game.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And I think that I think for Mert, um it's interesting because I know he came in number 4 in the competition, in the first competition, and he is currently in a safe couple, but now vulnerable. And I'm just kind of curious to see like what happens with him, and I feel like, but I do feel like him being so connected to Lucinda, um, I don't know. They kissed in the last episode, so I'm curious where that go. And I think hearing that Mert he won his first season of Love Island, if I remember from what he said.
Oh,
Um,
right.
and his second season was like a Casa All Stars, which begs a question. I'm kind of curious what that would look like for the U.S. because that's a very interesting idea. Um,
Yeah.
but also knowing that he won his first season as a Casa Amor person, maybe not person, as a bombshell. I don't Casa Amor bombshell. I guess I don't know the phrasing of the person in Casa Amor, but interested to see. He clearly is like wanting to be connected with Lucinda, so I hope they get a chance. Now that Lucinda's like in the game, I feel like she was mentally not in the game for a bit, so we'll see.
Yes. Okay, I forgot about that. That's my only, I'll say, yellow flag for him, that I forgot that he said he won one season and then immediately returned.
Hmm.
And I thought,
And
I
got third
mean,
place
yeah,
for
so
a
I thought,
second. Yeah,
it could be that things just truly didn't work out. But with the pace we know these shows go, I'm like, that means it really, like a week into it, a week into it, and it immediately didn't work out.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So that's the
yeah.
only kind of yellowish flag.
Yes. Yes, agreed, agreed. Definitely feel the same way. Feel the same way. But transitioning to Lucinda,
Yes.
how much did you know about her going in? How do you feel about her on Love Island Games now that she knows she's on Love Island Games too?
Okay, now I like Lucinda. Lucinda was on the last full season of Love Island UK that I watched, and I found her very annoying. But it wasn't her fault. It was basically everything surrounding her. I think she might have been 20 or 21, and she spoke in
Oh,
this tone where her big phrase was to go, really. Really, every time someone would be like, "Oh, you're beautiful," she'd be like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Girl, but it was like a constant thing, to the point where the other Islanders would like make fun of her for going, really, for every like statement anyone would make, and I found that annoying. But it was more of me being like, why is she on the show? Why is this 20-year-old on the show? And then she was paired with this man who was I don't know how old he was supposed to be, but he looked like he was 27. And so I kept thinking, she's obviously white and he was black. So I'm like, I know you're not brother and sister, but I'm like, you look like you're her uncle. I'm like, why are you paired with her? Why'd you choose her? Everything around it was annoying, and I think other people were kind of like, yeah, this is weird, she looks very young, and you look
yeah.
like you're her uncle. And the way he would speak to her was very much like, oh, come here, Sonny, let's sit down, let me tell you about life. I'm like, what is happening here? And so they got eliminated, and then he basically said that, according to him, as soon as they got eliminated at the airport, he was immediately like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna work out.
Honestly, iconic.
And then she returned for, was she in Love Island Game Season 1? She returned for something. I saw her again a second time. Or maybe it was Love Island All Stars. And that time she was like, she'd grown up a little bit. There was less weirdness around her being on the show. And I thought, okay, she's getting better. And now I feel like she's settled into herself and I like her. I feel like
Yeah,
before she didn't really have much to say. And now she has things to say. She has a personality. So she's A-okay in my book. And she's not
yeah,
doing her whole like, who me?
yeah,
thing
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Which I get, I want to say could have been authentic, but it was the amount of really that was a little much.
yeah, yeah. I I feel like so it's funny because in a similar way to Nicola, like Lucinda, I feel like came in last in the first competition,
Yeah.
and then she's like had like, I wouldn't say a breakdown, but she was pretty sad. She was feeling very low and was like, why am I even here? I didn't even know what this game was about. And and even in the first challenge, people were, like, cheering her on, and she was like, "Stop! Like, you're stressing me out." Um, and and then literally when she was like digging through the sand, the fake snake she was scared of, she screamed at the fake snake 3 times, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know this person as well, but honestly, I'm interested to see where this goes,
Yeah.
because everyone else is so serious, and she is it brings comedic relief a little bit,
Hmm.
as like a character, um and honestly, when she chose to duel um Adrian wait, who did she duel?
Andreina.
Yeah, on Adriana. Um I was like, is that the right choice? Like she's like,
Yeah.
she has the height on you, she has like a bigger build, and she dominated. I think she got like 10-1 on the balls, and I was very surprised and impressed. And I think she was impressed too. For the next like 2 days, she was like, my body hurts. I've never done that much physical activity. And I was like, this is wild. So I was really happy for her. She was like feeling it, and afterwards she was
Yeah.
talking Tyreek and was like, maybe I like this now. So it's been funny to see her on the show. It's been funny to see on the show.
I think everyone was surprised by that. I was surprised too, but then I thought more about it. I thought, well, you know what? Andreina is more. She does. I guess she does give me more like I'm trying to have fun. I lay out. She doesn't really give me. Yeah, I'm like training in the gym. I do my leg day, my blah blah day. So maybe, I mean, maybe it's a good lesson because I also was like, why would you choose her? But then I guess the other part of it is because she's tall. Like maybe I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like what Lucinda sort of calculation was. But I guess I can see a world where if the goal is to bend down and put something in the ball, you actually have a disadvantage if you're taller because you have to bend more, and then you have like, yeah, I'm like, maybe I could see that how like it actually, someone who's shorter, it's a little
Yeah,
easier because they have less range that they have to get through.
yeah,
But then also I think a lot of people were surprised that because at least, yeah, her build is she's taller, and Lucinda, it looks like she's maybe like 5'2". You would think that she wouldn't, because she was kind of like, what's the word, like dragging Andreina around. So I
yeah,
don't think I
yeah.
would have assumed that. I would have assumed, okay, I don't, even though you might be able to get the balls in faster, Andreina could just at least like give you some resistance and slow you down. But she was just like
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Like Adriana like respectfully looked like a fish out of out of water, like literally like floundering. And I think part of it, like not to get into like the nitty gritty of like strategy for that situation, but
Hmm.
looking at Josh too, of like I think both of them, Josh and Lucinda, like got super low to the ground and were able to pull the other one down because of it, and they kept being on low in the ground. And I think um Josh realized that quickly, and I think Lucinda was just like pure adrenaline a little bit,
Hmm.
based on how she approached it. But I was surprised that Adriana didn't like adjust for the second round. I feel like it was like worse the second round. I'm like, you feel like it would be better by now. Yeah, so I'm interested. I hope she gets paired with Mert. I feel like her and Tyreek were just like friends. They're just
Yeah.
connecting and chatting. They're like literally going and doing other things with other people and come back and like chat about it with each other. So
Yeah.
honestly, I am enjoying the friendship because they're both kind
Mhm.
of like, oh, you kissed Mert. Oh, I kissed KK. Like they're enjoying themselves, and so I'm happy for
Yeah.
them. But hopefully, but I do think Tyreek knows that he's not gonna get super far. So I feel like Tyreek's already thinking about his next move, which is always fun. Which I don't know if we want to go that route then with Adriana and Tyreek if we want.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's do it. So Tyreek is from UK. Andreina is from the most recent season of USA. Um,
Hmm.
we talked a little bit about this before, but Tyreek is kind of like actually I don't even know if I want to compare him. He's a lovable villain in my opinion because he's open about being here for the money. He's open about doing whatever it takes, and he's open about it to everyone's face. I can see in his eyes that he does like Andreina, and I think he said that he had DM'd her before. So I think his, like for her is genuine, but he's also I took a picture of some clip where he told her you need to start doing better in the challenges.
Yeah,
And so I think
yeah,
he's making, you've told me about something he did with KayKay, and so I think he's making moves because he's like, Andreina, you're my girl, but you're not really performing the way I wanted you to.
Yeah, and I think I said this before, but I think he's a complete menace, and I do love it. Like I feel like for this show, for this is entertaining. I think that uh, in the end, I think he's definitely here for the money, and he says that, and he hopes to find love along the way, or I don't know if love, I think a relationship. Um, and like even his and I do like the dynamic between him and KK a little bit.
Mm.
Like when in the challenge when he said his frontal lobes have developed, was like was so funny, and like I can appreciate I think I can sometimes separate the person a little bit to like the character that they're bringing, and I think
Hmm.
his energy, where he's like, um, even like I feel like, and we'll get to Josh later, but Josh was like so upset and kind of bringing up like, "Well, I helped you," and Tyreek's like, "I won. I'm better than you," and like Josh just could not handle it, and I loved it. I love somebody who's gonna antagonize people, um, especially in this type of show. But I do think him talking with KK and then kissing KK and telling Chris. I think he said it in the show, but he definitely strategically wanted to do that because he said he's like, oh, I just want to add some kind of like seeing them as a competitive
Okay.
couple. He wants to help break that up a little bit and add a little drama, and make
He's like, I'm a
sure
little bored.
yeah, a little bored, but also making sure that like things can change because I think he was number two in the competition in the first competition, but Chris was number one, and I think he's keeping that in mind as he does everything, um,
Mm.
which I honestly is good TV. So I'll take it, and I. Though I do, and we'll talk about it later. I do really enjoy KK. So my thing is like I don't. I hope if Tyreek and KK do explore things further, I just want to make sure KK is good in the process. But their dynamic is very playful, and they seem very attracted to each other. So,
Yeah.
uh, and I think Tyreek sees that KK does better in the challenges than Adelina. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. One quote that Tyreek said that I didn't write down, but I kept in my mind because it's concerning but relatable. At the beginning, I believe Ariana asked him, about his first time on the show, and he said, "Oh, I wasn't really ready for love, anything like that." And then Ariana said, "Are you ready now?" And he didn't say yes. He said, "I'm getting ready." And
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that's the red flag and concerning but relatable. And I was like, oh, me when I'm telling somebody I will be there at 11. I'm like, I'm getting ready.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Tyreek, you were
I'm
supposed to
almost
say yes, you're ready, but okay.
well, he's gonna be on like the fifth Love Island season, like he's ever been on, like a few years from now, and then he'll be like, "Hey, I'm so close. I'm so close. Um,
Almost
I'm
there.
I'm
5 minutes
five I'm 5 minutes away from being ready for love." um, and I think as a love interest, I think a red flag, but as like a TV character in the season, like
amazing.
green flag. I love him, and I'm
Yes.
glad he's here.
Yes, yes. Me too. Yeah, I think he's fun, and I like him. It actually made me want to go back and watch his season. I haven't watched Love
Yeah,
Island UK in a while. Sometimes I'll see clips, but it made me curious um to see what he was like on his season.
yeah,
Okay, let's
agreed.
see. So we've got those folks. We talked about Tyreek. Oh yeah, so we kind of talked about Andreina, but maybe we should
A little
go
more in
into
depth.
her a little bit more fully now. I want to. Okay, this is a random, but I thought it was strange that Charlie kissed her, and I did not like that after they kissed, the first thing he said was, "Oh, Dominicana." I'm like, Charlie. every time I'm about to say, "Oh, Charlie's kind of cool. Charlie's chill. He does something like that," and
No.
I just want to. Okay, I guess this isn't really about Andreina, but I just want to say I think there's a reason that Charlie does not make it far in any interaction with anybody on this show. At first, I thought, oh, maybe there's something wrong. I did think, what's wrong with the women? He seems nice. He's tall. He's polite. But maybe there are things he's saying like that are turning everyone off because I am starting to think there has to be a reason that it's like, get out of here immediately when he joins the series.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that for Charlie, I mean, I guess we'll talk about Adelina, but I feel like
I just wanted to say that.
yeah, I do feel like Charlie is like it's just funny because I feel like yeah, I don't really see Spock with many people, and I felt like the most Spock was with her, honestly, based on the kiss, and I felt his choice to go to Andrea was like what? Like I don't know. I just like the dynamic. I was like I didn't really see that, and I was just kind of like I was like oh does she remind you the most of Hannah? Like what was her name? The
That
blonde,
was
and
her
you know what I mean.
name.
And so I was like but anyway, so I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole. I have a few things, other things for him, but I was gonna say
Ooh, okay.
for uh not good things, but just like
Yeah.
really other things. But I was like, for Andreina, like that I thought it was funny. Obviously, I wonder if she did know that Tyreek was coming because she was like, "Oh, I'm
Mm,
interested in Tyreek," like naming him as one of them, and he shows up immediately. I always wonder how much they know of who's going to be on the season
yeah.
before, because I felt like that was a little perfectly placed.
Mm,
Um, but I feel like I thought she'd be better at the challenges. I think everyone did a little bit. And being number 5 in the first one,
yeah.
demolished in the duel, um, and uh, one in the couple duel with Johnny, um, and she won in the couple duel with Johnny against Kendall and Garby, and that they did really good. But I do feel like respectfully, I do feel like Johnny was like do exactly these things as they were doing it. But they won. She won, and it was different competition. It was more of like a patience
Mm,
competition. Um, and she seems to be here for love, but I do feel like she's feeling pretty deflated from just the athleticism point of view, and I feel like she didn't really end the 4 episode arc in a good place with Tyreek. Even though I don't know if Tyreek knows that. But I think that she was pretty upset learning about the KayKay stuff, especially learning about it from Chris. Was a messy situation as a whole. So I don't know. I kind of feel I feel like made me realize how we really didn't get to know her as much as a character as like in Love
mm.
Island season 7. Um, and like I had no idea, I had no idea. Like her laugh, I took her laugh. I was like, oh, I didn't. Not to say like I don't feel any type of way about it personally, like but I was like, I literally did not know that about you. You know what I mean? Like, and I felt like I watched the season. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad she's in a season with people who are kind of like getting to know her, and she's has more screen time, and I'm glad we get to see it. But she's pretty down in the dumps right now, so I hope she can find her footing potentially. But I don't know if that's Tyreek, and I don't think that's with Johnny either, honestly. Um, but we can talk about that in a second too. But yeah, any other thoughts that you have about her?
I completely agree with you. I feel like this is the journey she should have had on season 7. And it's just another I don't think this is that hot of a take, but my hot take is that season 7 is actually one of the worst seasons of Love Island. They just had
Oh,
some amazing cast members, but the season overall was not good. Um, and her journey is just one example of that. She has personality, she's funny, she's beautiful, she can engage people in conversation. She should have been an OG cast member or at least a bombshell earlier in the season. And the fact that they held on to this woman for so long, and then when she gets on the season, only Jeremiah has eyes and understands, like, no, sorry, not just has eyes, but sees, like, oh, I should talk to her. And the rest of the men are just sitting around being like, oh, Jeremiah, yeah, I'm talking to her. But then when they vote out Jeremiah, they do nothing and they don't talk with her either. I was gagged. I was gagged that she was not like running that place because she has everything that makes an amazing Love Island contestant. And a dash against Love Island season 7 is that they, I think, chose a lazy route and were like, let's just get a bunch of influencers who already have followers and their followers will watch, instead of let's put people who actually have great personalities and are dynamic on TV front and center. And so I'm very, very happy that she's finally getting, I
yeah,
think, the experience that she should have had on her OG season. I'm loving her. I love that I think she's great. I think she's funny.
yeah,
She seems to have a good sense of humor about herself. Um, I have a question. I'm a little bit confused about the timeline. So, did she kiss Johnny first before Tyreek kissed KK?
So she no so
Okay.
from what I remember is that she lost the duel. So where she had to wear that atrocious necklace, which I guess we could talk about if we want. But she was like down.
Intentionally terrible.
Yeah, which honestly like is funny. It's funny, and I love that they have that. And I feel like when people are single in the villa for Love Island, maybe they should do the same thing. But I don't know. I feel like it's very funny.
Yeah.
But she was sad, had the necklace around her, and was like crying to Tyreek, and Tyreek's like, like basically hope you can do better in challenges, but like hope things will be better. It's okay. Then she kind of heads to bed. Then he goes in the bathroom and is hanging with KK and kisses KK that same night with when she's like in bed,
Okay.
like kind of upset, crying in her own bed, and then after that moment, as he's about to go to sleep, he's like, Andreina, like, you okay? And she's, yeah, yeah, and I was just like, wild because he just kissed KK in the bathroom.
Okay.
Um, and then the next morning is when her and Charlie meet Justine and Johnny, and that's when they kiss. So the next morning they kiss.
Mm.
Um, and so technically it happened, and I think that's why when they had the conversation finally, she was upset, and Tyreek was like, "Hey, it's a like tit for tat or whatever he said, with
Because she didn't
a
know that
British
he had
accent."
kissed. Tit for tat. Because she
Yeah.
didn't know that he. So, yeah, she kissed Johnny without knowing that he had kissed someone else.
Yes.
So,
Yes, yes. So and I think for her it was like I literally cried on your shoulder that night, and then you went an hour or two later and kissed somebody, and he's like, yeah, but you kissed somebody the next day, and it was kind of like I understand the vacuum that he's looking at, but in the moment I understand her being upset and you not communicating that to her, and I think there's fault in both, but I do feel
yeah.
like Tyreek's choice, even though it ended up they both did it, Tyreek's choice was a poor choice.
Yeah.
Um, though I don't know if
Agree.
he sees it that. I don't think he sees it that way. He's like, yeah, we're doing it.
He's like, that was one conversation, and we finished
Yeah,
the
yeah.
conversation, so I started a new one.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Exactly. So, but anyway, so yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying in Love Island season 7, but I think that I'm intrigued to see more of her. And I'm glad I thought there was a chance she'd get eliminated, so I am glad she did pull through. Because I felt like there was more to her story and honestly more drama with her and Tyreek. And I think she can get a lot of moments to be like um to be upset at people. Not to say that you want to be upset at people, but I think sometimes like good characters come out of Love Island when they get to defend themselves. And if she's gonna try to be in a relationship with Tyreek and honestly with Johnny, then I feel like she'll have a few opportunities to kind of like hopefully defend herself. Which I don't want that for her, but in terms of like, hey, I think she will show her more of a personality. You know what I mean? So
That's true.
I don't know if you agree with that, but I just like
I do agree with it. That's just funny because oh gosh, those are both two terrible options. I will say at least Tyreek is honest. Johnny is definitely not known for being an honest person. So I feel like
yeah,
if at least I'm just laughing because those are terrible choices.
yeah, yeah. I
Terrible.
actually,
It's just when I mean I guess it's just yeah, at least with Tyreek it'll be honest. Johnny is
yeah.
definitely not one to trust.
Did you see? So I haven't been as in touch with like everything pre Love Island games, but I saw a TikTok or a video of Jeremiah learning that she's on the show, and him like being upset that she was on the show, and people were like, oh, were they like dating or kind of talking or something like that? I don't know if you saw anything of that, but if not, I might like look a little more after this, just to understand. But I saw a video going around, and I was like, were they talking before she went on the show again? Because I just feel like again, I feel like I was intrigued between Jeremiah and her. Even
Yeah.
though obviously Jeremiah is not a perfect person and he went through a lot too. But I feel like Jeremiah as a person seemed a little different than than the people than who she's talking to now. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But
Yeah, I think I'm assuming it had to have just been DMs because
yeah,
yeah, I feel like they asked them a few times, once he was eliminated, and then when she was eliminated, oh, are you going to date? Is anything going to happen? And both of them said no. And then something happened where I think he didn't like that she, when Ace asked her, was
Mm,
Jeremiah, being full on, she said yes, even though she said yes, but I liked it, and that she wasn't saying, oh yes, and I hated it. But he
yeah.
took offense to that. So I don't think, if anything, maybe they were, exchanging some flirty DMs, but it couldn't have been, it can't be that, oh, we've been going on a few dates or anything like that, because even through
Yeah.
the reunion, which was what, like a few weeks ago, they were still saying there was nothing.
Yeah. 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 Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know when that was, but I feel like he like was reacting to learning she was on Love Island Games. So I was like, oh, is this something else? But maybe it was just talking a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it could
So
be that, or it could be that, maybe he was asking her, "Are you going to go?" But she stuck to her NDA, and so maybe
yeah,
it's that he's like, "Oh, she said no."
yeah, yeah, right, right. But well, I guess coming from her, I guess jumping off to Johnny,
Yeah.
like
Did you watch his
I
season of Love Island?
no, I've seen clips, but no, I did not. I know he said I think I knew that he was seen as a villain, and he said he was a villain. Um, and so I like the way he introduced himself.
He was the worst type of villain. He didn't start. So that was that. That's actually, I think, that's my second favorite season of Love Island USA. It was a really good season. He didn't start off as a villain, so
Oh,
that's why I'm like, no, Johnny is a big X, because he was primed to win. He and his partner were like the golden couple, blah blah blah. And then he goes to Casa, and he doesn't just kiss somebody. He like immediately immediately like makes out with people, and everyone is shocked because they thought that he was in the strongest relationship, and they all try to kind of ask him, hey, what's going on? Why are you
yeah,
doing this? And he has no explanation. He just says, oh, well, we're in Casa, and
yeah.
then makes out and basically hooks up with one of the Casa girls, and then doesn't even bring her back, and tries to, it's kind of like a, oh my god, what was that guy's name in season
Ouch.
6? Yeah, tries to pretend like nothing happened, but then of course they showed the woman the footage, and then he apologized, and it was obvious that he was playing her, but she fell for it, and he said, oh, I'm so sorry, like I'll never do that again, blah blah blah. And so she said, okay, we're gonna be together, and they were supposed to be together. I think they won, second or third place, and we're together. And then she said she paid for a vacation for them to go to Hawaii, and then when they were at the Cheesecake Factory, he wouldn't even pay for her meal. and then and then he
Oh my
cheated on
god.
her. And
Okay,
then
okay.
yeah. And so it's one of those things where it's like it kind of bums me out that he's decided to embrace being a villain, because it's more of a like, but you didn't start as a villain, and you could have not been a villain, and he just kind of, I mean, maybe yeah, he's a villain in real life. He decided
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm the bad guy, but it's like, but you did all of this. Nobody,
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
misunderstood. Like, you made all these choices, and then of
Exactly.
course, Love Island Games last time, he had a baby on the way and did not tell the mother of the child.
That I read. That I read.
Real life villain.
Yes, yes.
But he's good
He
TV.
yeah, yeah, he well what was what I was a little confused by is that I feel like Andreina was like off the show for what, 2 months, 3 months,
Yeah.
and for her to be like, yeah, Johnny and I talked for 2 months, or had something for 2 months. I was like, wait, like in the last 2.5, 3 months, you've had something for 2 months with him? And so I was just like, unless it was before, but it sounded like it was after the show. But when someone says something like that, but I was like, literally, you only had like 2 months from the show, so
Right.
it's just like a funny dynamic where we'll talk about it later, but when, Charlie sees Justine and was like, who are you? And I was like, my God. And then whenever they linked up, I was like, oh, I'm interested to see if she knows. And I was like, oh, the way they were sitting, I was like, they kind of looks like they know each other. And then quickly they were like, I was like, oh, they
Yeah.
like know each other. So it was just like interesting. That was like that seeing that dynamic. Um, was interesting, and I appreciate the like, hey, let's not tell people that we know each other, like from a strategy standpoint, I guess,
Yeah.
because I feel like Andreina might be like locking in a little more to see that a bit, which is entertaining.
Mhm.
But my God, Johnny said in like three different conversations with her, he called himself what, like, knight in shining armor, superhero twice, a savior. He was just like making sure, like, hey, just so you know, I'm like the person who like really picked you up and saved you. Like, thank God I'm here. I'm like, shut up,
This
my
is why
guy.
he's a
Like,
real life villain. That's how
yeah,
he
yeah,
talks to
like,
people. His whole thing is like, no, I'm a really nice guy. They just misunderstand me.
yeah,
Like, no, you're
yeah.
not, Johnny.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's why, like, I'm entertained to see him from a TV perspective and like what he brings. More of, like, live seeing it. But his villain approach is so different than like Tyreek, for instance, and that's what I hate. That he's really coded like, oh, I'm a good, I'm a good person. And I feel like uh when Tyreek in his intro package, when he was like, yeah, my mom said like don't be as like straightforward, or I don't be as
He's like, don't be yourself.
don't be yourself, and he's like, nah, I can't do that, who am I? And I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I want out of villains. I want villains that are like, I know I'm a villain, but like he'll say, oh, I'm a villain for like the Johnny will say I'm a villain for the clout of like being a villain, but like in conversation to people, not the camera, he'll be like, I'm the nicest person you ever met. And that's what I don't like. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, but I, they won. It was very impressive that I feel like they won. They did it really quickly too, because I thought Kendall and Gabi were like gonna beat them. I just assumed that
Hmm.
like they had a good dynamic, good communication and conversation, and so I was pretty surprised with how easily they won. But hey, like I think that see where Johnny goes, but they're all vulnerable right now. Johnny and Andre, like one of the couples. So I'm interested to see what the public thinks of them. I'm also, I know we talk about this, but I'm interested what the public will vote on. If it's going to be on competition based, on
Ooh.
love, like because the first Love Island games happened like separately. It wasn't live. So like I'm curious to see what the voting will look like. It's kind of like for these competition shows, there's not often live voting. And
Mhm.
this is a like a physical competition show as much as love. So we'll see. But Johnny, interesting character.
Yeah, I think as much as I am like, oh, I don't like you in real life, I am curious to see if this will finally be the season where people don't fall for Johnny's shenanigans. Because, Love Island game season one, it was, I think, was it three people? Because Selly, his ex, warned the first woman he hooked up with, Sydney, who warned the next woman he hooked up with, Liberty, who warned the next woman he hooked up with, I can't remember her name, who warned the next woman he hooked up with, and each of them were like, "Yeah, but like I think he's just misunderstood." and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
very curious. I think that's what the Johnny is fun, but also I'm like, it's a I don't know what that's called. Like I want him to finally get his just desserts.
yeah,
I don't want him to leave because the public voted him out. I want him to leave because he finally doesn't get chosen, because finally the women are like, okay, I guess if eight people, I guess, okay, maybe, maybe
yeah.
he's
Well,
not misunderstood.
I mean, that's the hard thing because I think on this like game type show, I feel like he often will be sought out after like for like competition wise, knowing he came in second. Like I don't know, I like that's my
Yeah,
thing.
no, you're
And
right.
but from a love perspective, like I feel bad because uh I feel like Andreina like is I feel like there's like a level of like innocence a little bit with her, and I don't know if it's for. I
Yeah,
know she said that she's never had a boyfriend. I guess. Oh,
right.
she said that in the first season, which you know nowadays what that means and everything is like a interest that's a separate conversation, but she said that, and I think that even how she spoke to Tyreek, and I feel like I didn't even watch Tyreek season and I knew of Tyreek and how she was so
Mm.
excited to talk to Tyreek, but I'm like, but do you know who this guy is? And I think same thing, like I don't even watch Johnny season, but I've known of Johnny. And the way she's kind of like, even though she had something with him and intrigued, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of level of innocence. I'm like, oh man, are you gonna believe this? And I just I hope it's all good for her. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see about Johnny for sure.
Hey, let's
um,
see.
do you want to I mean, one thing I guess we could mention is her choice to give. She had a choice between Kendall and Garby, and we can transition to them, I guess. But like, she chose to put the necklace around Kendall, which I thought was really interesting. just from like a strategy point of view, I did
Oh, I
feel
see.
like I feel like she was I feel like she likes Charlie, but I feel like she I don't know. I couldn't really decide because I felt like if she did put it around Garby, I thought there was a bigger chance that Garby might have gone home. I'm not
Mm.
saying that she would have. I think she would have still beat. But I think as soon as she put it around Kendall, I was like, oh, I think Kendall's gonna go. Kendall's gonna stay. So I don't know if she thought about that at all. She might have just not wanted to put it around another woman. But I felt like that was an interesting choice because I felt, I didn't, I forget if she voted for Kendall or not. Oh no, sorry, if she voted for Charlie or not. So I don't know the dynamic, but I just strategically, I was like, I was intrigued in why she chose that, but we didn't really get a confessional of like why she chose that, and I felt like I would have loved to hear a little more about it.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
True. Yeah, I'm suspecting it is because yeah, she didn't want to do it around another woman.
yeah.
That's what I'm suspecting.
Same.
Because she doesn't know either of them really.
Yeah, yeah, same. So that's what I kind of assumed. But I was like, if you were trying to keep Charlie, who you seem to have a somewhat good relationship with, then would you want him to stay? Though that was, but I don't know if she was thinking like that either. So who knows?
Honestly, I feel like
Um,
she's like whatever about Charlie. She was the
yeah.
one in the stand your well, I think oh no, Charlie was gone by that point. But I think Charlie is good friends with Austin and she was the one in the stand on business challenge who kind of called out Austin and was like, "Why are you here?"
Oh,
So I
yeah.
feel like she's probably I think it's like Charlie's nice enough, but I don't think she would be like, "Oh yeah, we're good friends." I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
she's like, he's whatever, he's there."
Yeah, yeah. That's real. That's real. I personally don't care about Charlie that much, but I was just curious about the
Yeah.
reasoning for sure because I was like, but I agree. I was like, I didn't think but the way they reacted, it might just be like they're in the villa, like same with
Yeah.
Andrea and like Kendall, like they're like, oh, whatever. And I'm like, y'all knew each other like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was like we do not like her, like as a unit. So it was an interesting moment, but I guess do you want to talk about Kendall and Garby, or
Yeah.
Garby and Ken, as they say? Um,
Yeah. I know I actually unfortunately forgot about them. I would have done them earlier, but I have them written down but forgot about them because I really like Garby. Kendall is I feel like maybe because
actually,
he oh god.
yeah, I want to hear what you think about because I know what you thought about Kendall. I feel like in season 6, so I'm curious about this rendition of Kendall and how you feel about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to hear more. I'm so
I
curious.
was about to say I don't think Kendall is being himself yet. I was about to say yeah, I think he took a note and is trying to keep that hidden.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, because I watched I think I only watched 2 episodes of Beyond the Villa, but on that I was like, yeah, I think he's trying. I will say it seems like he's trying to evolve, but I'm a little bit worried for Garby. She doesn't know. She doesn't know him. She probably doesn't know like his history. I really like her. And I like them together, but I honestly get more friends
Oh,
from
really,
them. I
really?
don't really but it also could just be that I do not
I know, I
I well,
know.
I don't I think I trust Kendall insofar as I don't think he would immediately drop her if she starts doing poorly. I don't think that. I think even though he's probably also like, oh, I'm here for money, I feel like Kendall might also be here for love. So I'm actually more worried if someone who is his, quote unquote type comes in. That's what I'm worried for with Garby.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
I
really like
am
her, and I hope she stays for as long as possible.
agreed. I am specifically I feel like there were rumors that Nicole was going to be on the season. So I'm like if Nicole came in later, I'm very curious about what that would
God.
dynamic would look like. But I think so. It's funny. I feel like I've heard the quote before saying like the messiest person you know is a man, and I feel like specifically the messiest person I know is Kendall. You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of things that he didn't do. He didn't do great, and I feel like he has some internal like reflections he can be doing and how he like sees
Yeah,
black women often
yeah,
but I do feel like he has been entertaining season wise I enjoyed a lot of the moments he has a lot of
yeah,
great moments from
yeah,
him egging people on, and even like immediately in the challenge like he was the loudest one cheering for everyone and I was like, oh, I do enjoy him on my television. Like I just
Yeah.
enjoy a little bit, and so
Yeah.
I right now, if I had to choose like a couple I like dynamic wise, and also a little bit in the challenges,
Mm,
I would say them. Like I think they're my favorite couple, and I felt like immediately they had a really good dynamic.
yeah.
And they were joking off each. They both said that I felt very natural, and it did feel like it gave fun vibes. But I felt like that photo booth kiss was like pretty like
True.
I feel like Kendall seemed surprised almost how much he was enjoying it, which I don't know if I'm projecting on him, but I just feel like I was like, oh, I feel like he's into this, and I feel like he's surprised he's into this. I don't know. I don't know if you've got that, but I felt like that's how I was seeing him a little bit.
I did get that. Which
Like
which said that's why it's in my mind where I'm like, Kendall, I like, yeah, it's like, I think Kendall is someone who I want to like. So I'm like, Kendall, come on, I want to like you.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, maybe projecting wasn't the right word, but
No, I
more
know what
of
you mean. I know what you
yeah,
mean.
yeah. Like I feel like seeing him. I'm kind of like like based on your perspective um of the last season, I did not see this happening. But but I thought it was interesting though when it was like, what is the Sparks level? He
Yes.
said 8.1 out of 10, and I was like, okay, like I get it, and also that made me feel like, are you into this? I just like I felt like the number choice was very interesting. And
Yeah.
so,
I think she
but
automatically has. She started from a. She also started from minus points, so it's going to be a little tough with her
yeah,
and
yeah,
Kendall.
yeah, that's true, that's true. Um, but he came in number 6 in the first competition, and he lost the couples duel. So he hasn't had a lot of success, but he did end as like a safe couple at the end.
Mm,
Um, and he survived the vote, and I do think that like I'm someone who's watches a lot of competition shows. Kendall is really good at being in a good relationship with everyone. Obviously, like after
mm,
Casa Amor in season 6, like everyone was pissed off at him, rightfully so. The way he like was like being like a wingman for everyone, and how he like really just shares all the shit with everyone. But he's also good at like weaseling back into good graces with people.
yeah.
And so from a competition show standpoint, he's the type of person that can get really far in a social game. So
Mm,
I think that's something like I was not surprised that he. I was a little surprised how many votes Charlie got, but I think Kendall is somebody who's very like endearing in a one-on-one conversation based on the show. So I feel
yeah.
like I feel like he could make it far just because of his social game, and if he's
Mm,
semi good at challenges, I feel like he could get further than most. But
mm.
if he's trying to like wrestle Johnny or Chris, I don't know if that he'll get very far. But we'll see what happens. But I do like Garby. Garby, you said Garby is your favorite person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Garby's my favorite. I think I agree though that Kendall and Garby together are my favorite couple. I agree with you
yeah,
on that. And that
yeah,
that's a really interesting point you made about Kendall. Yeah, I think he's smart and you're right, he is very sociable and does seem to get a good read on people. He is just he's messy and he's got some internal things
yes,
he needs to work on. It
yeah.
sounds like he's working on it though.
Yes, yes. I like whenever I think he has a little bit of a, even though he's very like he will like make you smile and laugh. I do feel like he has a little bit of a like eyes for like watching out for Chris. Like because I feel like when Chris came in,
Mm.
I know Lucinda made the comment, and we'll talk about Chris when Chris is like, obviously you know who I am, and Lucinda's like, why do we know who you are? But Kendall was like, oh, like he made the face like, and
Yes.
and the sound, and also whenever Chris was like, when Chris came in first and he was like, yeah, like these people got nothing on me or something like that, and
Mm,
Kendall made a face too and was like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I feel like Kendall, I don't know, I feel like I can see a world where Kendall tries to get Chris out. um I just feel like I'm like noticing that. Like I feel like Christopher obviously had a relationship with Charlie and voted for Charlie to stay, but I feel like there's like a dynamic of like I just feel like Chris thinks he can be unstoppable in this game, and I feel like there's a world where if Kendall gets an opportunity,
mm.
Kendall will get Chris out. That's something I'll just note. At least how based on the dynamics that I've seen so far, the small moments in between. I don't think they talk a ton. So
Ah,
we'll see.
interesting. I did clock the first moment, but I didn't. Yeah, I don't think I caught the rest of it. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is interesting, but I like Garby too. I just want to say like she is really fun, high energy. I love how she was like, I'm thinking about the money. And so, and it was funny because she said, I'm thinking about the money, and obviously, if I find somebody that's cool, and I feel like Kendall's like, hey, I'm here for love, but I hope I win with money. Whenever she said, I'm thinking about money, Kendall's like, yeah, 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 me too, but I hope I find somebody. And she's like, yeah, yeah, but I think he was like, definitely trying to be like, yeah, yeah, sure. Um, so but I do want to, the one thing I didn't like, I felt like in the duel, after the duel, they were saying that, oh, Gabi was like apologizing because she was struggling so much and she wasn't doing as well, um, and saying Kendall was very calm. But I felt like Kendall kind of like yelled a few times, and like cursed and was kind of upset. Like whenever they like hit it a couple times. And granted, I know she said she had like her nails on. It was very hard to be holding um the string, but I felt like when I was watching it, I was like, Kendall, you're doing a little bit of a lot right now. Um,
Mm,
and I think afterwards, when Gabi was like, you were so supportive and so calm, and I really appreciated it. And I was like, I can believe that. And also, like, one of the last times I hit it, he yelled like the F word in frustration. And I was kind of like, I don't know, that was something that I just felt like I wanted to know a little more about, because I feel like I was like, what I saw was not what you all said. So I don't know if they ended it
yeah.
that way or not. So I don't know. So that's something I want to keep in mind, because I like them a lot, but I that made me feel a little weird watching that.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I will say Kendall, if he gives me any sort of vibe, he gives me, dad from the suburbs whose highlight of the week is playing, board games or charades, and he gets way too upset and has like a vein popping out of his forehead when people don't guess correctly. So I can that's my very specific read on Kendall, where I can see that that is you're right, that is something to know, because I think overall he's a good person, but I could
Yeah.
definitely see these little things that come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. So we'll see, we'll see how they go.
Yeah.
But then I guess, so the last string, I guess, is it
Chris the
um
Annoying.
uh oh yeah, that's true. I was thinking of Andrea, Charlie and Josh, but I guess Chris and KK are actually the one more.
No, you
Do
know
you want
what?
to?
Then let's end with Chris, because that'll be
Yeah.
fun to roast him. Okay,
Um.
Andrea, Chris, and Josh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Can we also put Josh? Let's do Andrea and Chris first, and then Josh. Sorry, Andrea, Josh,
Charlie.
and Chris. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Charlie. I
yeah,
keep forgetting about
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Charlie.
yeah. Yeah. Well, there's not much else to say with Charlie, but I'm more of like, um, but sorry, something I do want to say about Kendall. The
Yeah.
growth that I've seen is that he hasn't said nasty at all. He said it once in his intro package, but honestly, I was like, growth, so I'll give him that. I literally was gonna have a I was gonna I literally was gonna have a nasty count, and he hasn't done it, so I'm impressed. But there's a lot more of the season to be played out, so let's not give
Oh
him
my
too
gosh,
much
that's
credit.
funny.
Um, but yeah, I think all I was gonna say for Charlie is that you know he lost pretty unspectacularly on Love Island, and then he was 0 for 2 in challenges in Love Island games, and he literally was with the reigning champ in the second loss. Maybe Love Island's not for him.
Lots of things are not for him. And then outside of Love Island, he's with the reigning terrible,
Yep.
mm, reverse geode person. Um,
Yes.
so he's losing all around.
Yes, agreed. And I was just surprised he got. I honestly was just surprised how many votes he got from people. Like I honestly was like, interesting. I was like, have you talked to him though?
That's what I'm
But
saying. I think there's something going on with him that they are not showing us on camera, because it
yeah,
seems like
yeah,
the people who are behind him are people who, yeah, like Chris, who is another questionable character, or people who don't really know him. But it seems like
yeah,
everyone who has even one conversation is kind of over him immediately. It's like, what
yeah.
is he saying that they are not showing us?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
my only evidence is like, okay, you kiss someone who you're supposed to be friends with, and the first thing you talk about is her ethnicity. Weird.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Literally, literally. Um, and then. And I felt like it was a weird and we'll get to Josh, but a lot of the toxic masculinity with Josh. But I feel like when Josh said something to Charlie right before they got into the ring or whatever, and he said something, and Charlie's like, okay, okay, and I just felt like it was just like a weird moment where they both are like huffing and puffing, um, and it's just funny at the end when he was like, you gave him my all I could do. Like, in the moment Charlie was saying that after he lost, and I'm like, you were playing in Love Island games and putting balls in the cups. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand it was a tough challenge and everything, but it's like, let's not make this more intense than it is. Uh, but that's all I got for Charlie. That's all I got for Charlie.
That's all he deserves. That's enough.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but do you want Andrea or Josh next in that case?
Andrea.
Okay. Tell me what you think about the season 6 bombshell.
You know what? I actually I didn't dislike her in season 6, and I feel like I feel the same way about her now where I'm like, she's cool. I guess I don't get much from her. Everything in season 6 was really like everything surrounding her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in this season, like she seems cool. I clocked that the way she explained her exit from season 6 was like all the girls voted me out, and it was still like the girls were against me, and I thought I was gonna be with that guy forever. And I'm like, there's no smoke for Rob, who said that you cringed him out. Like Rob actually said something kind of mean. I'm like, there's no smoke for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I clocked that she might be the same person, but so far I'm not offended. So far she's
Yeah.
fine. What about you?
Yeah,
What do you
she's
think?
Oh, she's okay. I think I was like going into it, I was like, how many Rob references will we get? And I
Hmm.
think intro package one, I think there might have been one other one, and then the snake one. So I think it was
Oh,
like
right.
three, and hopefully that's it. I don't know if she needs more of that, but I think I was kind of surprised, in Joe Package they didn't show like the moment. I feel like that was a very iconic
I
moment for the Love
know,
Island. Like
right?
I feel like that was a game changer for people to watch the show, and they didn't even show the clip. Like for her to be like, yeah, I got voted off, and then the guy I was with, oh wow, like I thought he was gonna come with me, and he didn't. And I was kind of like, I feel like you could have shown that moment. Obviously most people know it, but I think people would like love. I'm sure there's people who watch that episode and of Love Island Games pause it to watch that scene again themselves. You know what I mean? I was
Yes.
just surprised that they made that choice not to show it. So
Agree.
that was just like a editor choice from my perspective. Um, but I appreciate her saying I'm more focused on the money. And she was the most picked by a lot of people, like
True.
Charlie and then Toby. Um, and I don't know if that's because being the blonde in the space or what it is, but I'm kind of like I feel like she was like each time I feel like she wanted to be with Josh. Uh,
Yeah.
and so she seemed pretty visibly like annoyed when she was picked by Toby. And so at the end, but it seems like this is a redemption attempt for her, and I'm hopefully we'll get to know her more. I feel like we haven't really got to know her still much being in
True.
this, but something that was interesting though. I feel like did you clock this in the intro package when she was like, she's like, I was pretty public in like an 11th month relationship, but we did just
Oh,
end.
yeah.
And I was like, what? Like I was like, was I
She
supposed to know
annoyed.
that? I don't know the way it was talked about was just like yeah, I posted it all on my social media. It made it sound like obviously you know about it, so I'm not gonna talk more about it. But I was like, I don't know anything about your life. I
Yeah, I
know
didn't
that
know who she was talking about, and I guess I didn't even look it up.
yeah,
I was like, I don't know who you're talking about.
yeah,
I was going to look it up and then forgot to, but
yeah. Yeah, I literally was like, maybe I'll look it up, and I was like, I wasn't interested in it. So I just thought it was like a wild thing to take like 15, 20 seconds in your intro package to talk about. But that was just my perspective. So I thought it was kind of silly. But yeah, that's all I got for her. So, but she came in number 2 in the first challenge,
Mhm.
and
Oh, and
I
she did say she's very competitive. That she
yes,
either I don't know if she was saying she used to be in like I call them muscle mommy competitions, bodybuilding
Yes,
competitions.
muscle
Like,
mommy.
I think she said they, yeah, she's like very athletic and very competitive. So she
Yeah.
might be one to watch.
Yes, yes, agreed. And I, knowing Love Island for what it is, I'm surprised they didn't really take a moment to have Andrea in like a confessional at any moment to be like, I'm watching two men fight for me. I don't know. I feel like they would take that moment, and
Ah,
they really didn't, because the other one wasn't that. That was like Lucinda was trying to, knew that she might beat um Andreina, but like I feel
mm,
like this was really like yeah, I can beat you, but also like I want her back, and I felt like they didn't milk that. I don't
yeah,
know. I was kind of
agree.
surprised. So but not that I cared. I didn't really care to hear about it, but I just thought I expected it. I was waiting
Yeah.
for it to happen. I was like, oh, okay. Um, but Josh, tell me more about checkers, not chess guy.
Oh, I
Um,
wrote that down too. And I'm like, oh no, Josh.
Yeah, that was very embarrassing. I
It
literally Kendall was like, can't come back from that one, and
was.
that's why I like Kendall. That's why I like Kendall. Just for those moments, but that was very embarrassing. I can't. He was proud of himself, and then quickly he was like, oh, I mean, you're playing checkers, I'm playing chess, and I was like, oh, you already. Oh, I'm so sorry, bud.
Yeah. I know it was even worse when he tried to correct it. I'm like, just.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was too
So
much.
Josh, he's from USA. I didn't watch that season, but I heard a lot about the woman he was paired with, and heard that she was like a rumbler. Um, that she was ready to rumble at all times, and that she would talk about how she's from Bucks County, Philly. So without, definitely based on stereotyping, I was like, I don't know what was going on in your relationship, but I'm making some assumptions. I have empathy for him. Obviously, he had a great loss, and also I want to say that I don't know that his personality is a result of that, because it just seems like he has a lot of, yeah, toxic masculinity stuff, and is taking it way more seriously than it's.
Yeah,
I feel like it's fairly obvious that this is competition, but it's supposed to be a
for
fun
chemistry.
competition show,
Yeah,
and so um I have some questions about his personality, and I didn't
yeah,
watch a season, so I don't know enough to know whether this is
yeah,
how he was on his season two, and he was rumbling verbally with the woman from
yeah.
Bucks County.
I know. I want to acknowledge that, like, him saying that, like, hey, I needed to leave the first season because
Yes.
his sister, who told him to go to Love Island, like, passed
Yes.
away suddenly, and like that's so much. That's like a lot. Um, and and I'm it sounds like he's like processed that and healing from that, and that's really good. I think it. I think him also saying like I want to finish what I started on like Love Island was like, I appreciate the energy. It is funny just because it's like Love Island, but I just like from a of that like thought and perspective of like, I need to finish this thing, was just is like okay, like Love Island games, like, okay, sure. But he seems passionate, so I want to keep that in mind. But he's had like a lot of toxic masculinity
Heard.
throughout the whole, like, he's such a sore loser.
It
He's
was,
such
and
a
it was, yeah, it
sore.
was weird. I'm like, why are you so
Yeah,
mad? We just started.
yeah. I don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, he paired up with Andrea. He got the heartbroken thing. Won a duel to get her, stolen again from Toby, and loses Justine. But like, I feel like when he was like, I did all, like, when he in the confessional, he was like, I did all the work for Tyreek and got the hearts, and but it was easy for him. I was like, oh, that's annoying. That sucks. And then immediately he says it out loud. He's like, I got all the hearts for you, so you basically beat me because of that. And I'm like, oh, bad look, my guy. Um, and then, Tyreek, person who's gonna egg him on, and be like, "Hey, a win's a win. Winners in the end come up top." And like, you really like are letting him easily beat you. He's like, he's really
Uh,
bad at smack talking, and the same thing with Charlie. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And especially when he won, he was like, after being such a sore loser, all these things, when he beat in the duel, he was like, hey, that was like a really really good effort. You put such a good effort, man, out there. Like, oh, so like you just do such a great job, you know. And then at the same time, he's like "Ugh," like, you know, being so like, I won. And I'm like, okay, this is like, I don't know, it's just a weird dynamic. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm like, what am I watching? Like, you're not on anything specific. Like,
Maybe
um,
he's thinking he's on the challenge. Like maybe
yeah,
that's kind of how people act on the challenge. Like
yeah,
wrong show.
exactly. Exactly. Like, don't get me wrong, like when he like, you know, he was impressive in the challenge. Like he was like on the ground, he like knew what he needed to do, and I was like, oh, he's like on a 1-on-1, he's gonna be a really strong person.
Mhm.
Um uh but uh and obviously I think he's like pretty safe with Justine now that he's paired with Justine, because Justine's like good herself, and so I feel like they're powerful together. Though I think
True.
he wants to be back with Andrea, honestly. Um but I did think it was funny. I don't know if you remember this in the package, but when he said what he's going to ask a girl about, like how athletic they are, all these things, he's like, I'm gonna ask how tall their dad is. I'm like, I was like, I was gonna ask you, is that like indicative of anything? Like, is that like something that like I don't know. I feel like that was like, oh, your dad was 6 foot tall. Okay, so this means that you are very athletic. And I was just like, all right, I feel like, what are we doing here? Like, what is the? I felt like that was just an odd question choice, you know?
I forgot about that.
Like, I'm like, what do
Doesn't
you?
mean- it doesn't mean anything because you can see her, so you can
Yeah,
see her height. I mean, I would
yeah.
understand if you couldn't see someone, you would want to get a sense of how tall they are, but like you can see her, and it doesn't matter.
Exactly. It was like, you know, if she said her dad was 5'9", what would you do? What would you be like? It's like, you know, like, is that one of the questions that are now on like a Bumble app or like Tinder or something like that? Like, I don't know. I thought it was a silly choice. I just feel like he's not good with his words.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm not like the biggest fan of him, but also like he's had a few moments where I'm like, he's bad at smack talk, even though he's somewhat good at the challenges. Keeps on like fumbling, with what he's saying, and I'm like, for that it's entertaining because he's like the butt of jokes constantly.
yeah.
Um, but I'm like, I don't really care for him, but I do enjoy the like checkers. I'm playing checkers, you're playing chess. Like, that was just a funny moment.
I was making breakfast when I heard him say that, and I remember being like, wait.
Yeah, like I switched it up initially because obviously when people say that, it's so common to be said on like a reality TV show, and I was like, did he? And then quickly he was like, no, I play chess, and you play checkers, and then like, Tyreek's face is like, this guy. So too funny, too funny. Um, but you know, should we finish off with you know,
Chris, my
the guy,
kid brother, he
the,
reminds
the,
me of my annoying kid brother.
the guy that everyone knows about apparently.
I was like,
Um,
Chris. I mean, also, I don't think he caught this, but so was it might have been Lucinda. Someone said like, "Oh, I could tell you came from overseas because of the seaplane," and I'm like, "Oh, you know, apparently, I don't know why he's here because I thought he could be playing basketball somewhere else right now. So he's supposed to be overseas." Oh, Chris.
I know, I know. Literally, I was like, "This is the time you'd be playing basketball, right?" So I'm a little confused why you're not actually there.
Yeah.
So I just, but you know, granted, $250,000 is probably more money they'd be making over there. So, uh, you know, I'm gonna say it. Like, I definitely feel like there's a chance with some of these people, and I think Chris is the top of my list, that if they got the money, that I think there's a chance somebody would just take the money. Um,
You think
I,
Chris would be one?
I think Chris might do that. Um, but I think there's some people that might do that. I think from what I read, it's like the jury of people who got voted out pick who they choose out of the couple or something like that. Um,
Oh, right, like
and
like
so
last
I
year.
I don't think Chris would get chosen by any
Oh, I
jury
forgot about that
ever.
piece of it.
But I
You
do
might be right. MC, you might be right. Maybe Kendall will end up winning. I forgot that
yeah,
they. Okay,
yeah.
continue. I forgot about that piece here.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there's a higher
Mm.
chance now that someone might take the money. Which honestly could be entertaining, but would be wild. So just something that I'm keeping in mind. I was like, I feel like Chris is somebody who, like for instance, like I feel like if he was with KK the rest of the time, Chris would be the type of person to be like, well, you kissed Tyreek and didn't tell me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's the vibe. Like, it was like that happened 2.5 weeks ago, and we talked about it, and be like, but still, like, I just feel like that is his energy, you know?
You're
Um,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
because
So
I thought, no, he's not. I don't think he has a character that would be like, I'm going to take the money. But the petty part, you're completely right. He would.
yeah,
You're completely right. He is someone who would have, like a long term revenge plan and then say, yeah, I would have split it with you if you hadn't done this.
yep,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Worth
Oh,
worth noting. So something we'll keep in mind.
yeah.
Something we'll keep in mind. Um, but but yeah, tell me more about Chris. What you're thinking?
Uh, just annoying. When he first came in, I was laughing and I was ready to, get to know more of him. Obviously he had a terrible partnership, and I felt bad that he didn't get to have. Well, I didn't feel that bad because he's also, you know what? I don't know this for certain. It's alleged by some people that he's a Tory Lane supporter. I will admit I have not looked this up. I will admit that, so I'll just say it's alleged. Um, but I thought, okay, we're gonna get to know Chris. I think he can be fun. I think he'll have things to say. Um, and so far, he does have things to say. But I think the reason I'm side eyeing him is that I feel he is, I don't know if he's red pilled, but the way he speaks to KK very
Mm,
much gives like, well, if you want this, you should have told me. You didn't tell me, so why do I have to know that you want this? It's very, I don't like it. And I felt like even in that conversation when she was obviously heavily hinting that she wanted him to kiss her, I feel like the reason he didn't was because in his mind he's like, oh, so that kiss wasn't good enough. Well, if that kiss wasn't good enough, like, oh well. I was like, she's obviously. I know she was trying to flirt with him, and he took it. He was like, you got on top of me, and you kissed me for a long time. That kiss doesn't count. Like making it like we're fighting, and I'm like, she's trying to flirt with you. She's trying to say that
yeah,
she wants you to kiss her. Why are you
yeah,
taking it personally as like, oh, now you're insulting me? And I felt bad for her in that moment where I was like, come on, dude, like, what are you doing? And then
yeah.
I feel like the way he interacts is giving, like, so what do you bring to the table?
Yes, yes.
So
I agree.
which my kid
I
brother
agree.
is currently, well, I shouldn't say it. I'm hoping it's an era, but he's very much in that headspace. So that's why I'm just like
Ooh,
very
yeah.
annoying.
Hard to watch. Hard to watch. No, I I feel like for him to be like even like, well, he's like, we kissed already, with slime and sand, and we were forced to, so it counts. And it's like, okay, well, we all everyone who's ever watched Love Island knows kissing in a challenge and kissing out of a challenge are two different things. And for him to be like, we kissed already, we kissed twice actually, so you should be pretty. And it's kind of like, what are you talking about? Um,
Yeah.
and so I just feel like he keeps on saying like, I'm really into her, but like, oh, I'm scared because I want to focus on the prize money, and he's not like doing any, like, obviously famously we know with his relationship with Hunter that he likes to sleep early, and sleep matters to him, but not giving anything to any type of energy or anything to KK, and it makes, and then he's upset to be like, well, KK like was upset that KK kissed somebody else, and it was like, you're not giving anything to her. So I don't know, I just like he clearly only cares about the competition, and he doesn't care about the
Mm,
love. And I think he keeps on saying, I'm scared because I'm into her, but I'm like, nothing you're doing is showing that, my guy. Like it's very tailor coded with Alandria a little bit, where it's just like, you
mm.
keep on saying these things, at least what was on the episode, um,
Yeah.
and
Interesting.
different. I'm not saying they're the same person, but I'm saying like I
No,
agree.
I
I
get it.
agree. I agree with the red pill thing, which you were talking about. Like, I didn't think I really clocked that, but I think that he definitely has that vibe. And I mean, he was number one in the competition. In the first competition, they were the power couple at the end of the episode. So he is good, and he probably will be a competitive person. But I feel like, from a relationship standpoint, I think everyone who's coupled up with him will like get like the ick from him in some way. Personally, um, I
Yeah.
just feel like that's like he just has like a vibe of like, I'm better than you and I know what I'm talking about, and it's kind of like, we're a couple and we're trying to figure this out. A team. Let's just say we're a team. Like you don't do things by yourself in basketball. You do things together. You know.
Mhm.
Um, and so I don't know. I think. Oh, and also at the beginning, he was like, I want to show myself as like a gentleman because like I think people really thought that
Weird.
um
No, no, I'm agreeing
yeah,
with you. Sorry, I said like that was weird that he said that.
yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
that
no, yeah,
wasn't.
yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately, people were saying worse.
yes, yes, yes. It was a vibe. Yeah, I was just like, and then he, but then he within 30 minutes of the show, he literally said multiple things, and he literally was like, he was like, oh, why didn't you pair up with Garby? And he was like, Garby's strong physically, but I want to be with somebody strong mentally too. And then Garby's like, cool. And then he was like, no, no, that's not. Like, I'm just trying to say. And he just keeps on like he
No, it was
constantly.
worse. She said you don't know me, and then he said based on what I saw.
Yes. Oh, I
That's so
still got it from my foot. Yeah.
rude.
Like
What?
he constantly has his foot in his mouth, and I
Like,
feel
why
like
would you say that to someone?
even if we're trying to do like you mean something else, and there's a world he might mean something else, but he constantly the way he talks to people is just like not in a very like he doesn't know how he comes across. um and so and he's like what he says is like but obviously like what I'm trying to say is like I want somebody that's like strategic. I want somebody who's like strategic and I think can like approach in a different way than I can. Like you can say that in so many different ways. And then but you're putting her down, and that's why like you anything you talk about you put down the woman that you're
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
um and I feel like he just puts down people around him constantly. So I know I just get bad vibes from him. I think he'll be here for a
Yeah.
while because he's good athletically, but like I
Mhm.
do feel like his downfall will be epic if it comes. And I think that I feel like he's going to quickly, if not already, become a villain in some ways. So
Mm.
um personally. So because I don't know if on the I'm trying to remember on the fourth episode if he actually made breakfast for KK or made breakfast later after
Ooh.
finding out the kiss, because I remember he woke up super late, and she and I just the dynamic made it look like he didn't really make breakfast or do it quick enough or kind of thing. So I don't know, bad vibes.
Yeah, I don't think he. I was going to say he doesn't respect women. He might not respect anyone, but I
Yeah,
think in
yes, yes,
particular,
yes,
in
yes,
particular, yeah, I don't think he respects women. I don't remember there being a bunch of talk about how he wasn't a gentleman. I feel like, unfortunately, Huda said some pretty inappropriate things about him, and it wasn't about him being a gentleman. It was about like other stuff.
yeah,
Um, and I think exactly. So I was kind of surprised to hear him say, "Oh yeah, there was a lot of talk about that." I'm like, no, there's talk about things that she shouldn't have been talking about.
yeah,
I was on your side for that, Chris,
yeah.
and now, of course,
I know.
yeah. I just oh, go ahead.
No, no, I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
No, I feel like yeah, you're making a lot of good points, and I think you're opening my eyes. I think I'm projecting because I want to have hope for my kid brother and all that. I just feel like Chris gives me very much like red pill, like part of this weird oxymoronic thing is that they don't want women who are easy, but then they also want to be easy, quote unquote, but then they also want to be chased. And I feel like that's a lot of what's going on with Chris, where he's saying he wants to be a gentleman. But you're right. He doesn't put out any effort because he wants the woman to come to him and show him that
Yeah,
she's interested, but then also like not too interested. And he doesn't want her to like kiss anybody else. But then he
yeah,
also, yeah, but then like if she heavily implies to him, I want you to kiss me, he's like, oh, that kiss wasn't good enough. Like it's very, of course they get in their own way. And so it's like
yeah,
he's the problem, but I think you're right that he thinks he knows it all and he doesn't see any issue with the way he talks to people and behaves. I felt like what he did, I felt like the way he spoke to Garby was so disrespectful, and she was right. It's like he doesn't even know her. She hasn't done anything
yeah,
to him. So there was no reason for him to bring that energy to her. No, they didn't know each other. And that was kind
yeah,
of like I was really disappointed to see that, and that he didn't even, really apologize or try to clear it up in that moment. Like, oh no, I'm not saying that, you're not smart. To say based on what I saw, I'm like, you don't know her.
and that's what I mean. Like he will say something that's rude. Person will say that was rude, and then he'll be like, "Oh, you didn't understand what I was saying." Um, and I feel like honestly knowing that Garby and Kendall are linked, and I was like, I think Kendall will be the one who gets Chris out. I'm like honestly knowing that he said that to Garby too, I stand even firmer, and like I feel like there's like a long term that's gonna take place.
Mm,
But and I hope it does because I hope Garby's kind of like you know screw you,
Uh,
kind of thing. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So we'll see. But I definitely want to know. I'm like, I was like, I guess Chris was really into Shelly, because I feel like the way Chris engaged with Shelly was like pretty different. You know what I mean? And
He's
then
he's been the
um
nicest to her.
yeah, nicest. And I'm like, after seeing how he interacted with Hutter, how I saw him interact with KK, um, and I'm kind of like, oh, you really like Shelly, I think. So I don't know. It's just something that I thought was funny, at least something I was feeling. So,
That's
um,
funny. You're right. I guess.
yeah,
I guess so.
I'm not saying that Shelly need to be with him or anything, but just like based on
No, no, you're
you
right. That was the best we got of him. That was the best
yeah,
version.
yeah, it's only gone downhill,
Yeah.
so but I guess the last person is KK, which I think we're both fans of.
Both fans. I did not watch her season from USA. I kind of want to go back and watch it. I've heard that a lot of things happened during that season, so maybe I should do a watch. But I heard that on her original season, and then, she shared that she did too. That she left when the person who she was with was voted out, which is an admirable thing to do if you really feel a connection, and that's how Love Island should be played. But it seemed that that person was never all that committed or into her while they were on the show, so it was a bit of a strange choice for her to sacrifice her own journey to try and be with someone who hadn't really given her the assurance that she deserved. And I'm a little concerned that she's going to do the same thing again, where I know, yes, she's saying that. What did she said something in her package, where, yeah, I think it was something like how she knows she's supposed to be here for money, but she's here for love, and that's part of why I thought, no, KK, choose the money, KK, get your eyes on the prize. And I feel like she doesn't see the flags with Chris, and is I'm a little bit concerned. I don't want her to have the same type of journey where she is, like, she's like, no, but I really want to make it work with this person, and I want to show them that I'm here for them, and then it's someone who doesn't really deserve all of that loyalty and devotion and trust that I could see she wants to give to someone.
Yeah,
Granted, the options aren't great, but
yeah,
that's why I say choose the money.
yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. I think she slowly went from I'm really here for love and I hope I win, I have a couple, and then it's turned into like I think I'm here for the money a little more. And I think last conversation with Tyreek, I think she was kind of expressing that, and
Okay,
I
okay.
hope she deserves. I think I really enjoy her, and she's done pretty good in the competition so far, and I assume she'll only get better. Obviously, she'll make it far with Chris, but I feel like Chris is giving her nothing, and so I do feel like I hope she finds someone else. I don't know if that's Tyreek, but knowing that her Love Island season, she left with a guy that was pretty not great, and then she kind of regrets that. I
Yeah.
appreciate this redemption for her, so I hope that she
Mm,
gets it. I'm a big fan of her, and I'm hoping she continues to do well in this show. Um, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, well, I have not downloaded the app. I guess I need to re-download it so I can vote. Um,
Oh
did
yes.
did they tell you whether it's like, is it, oh, you, because I think I heard you say some people are safe. So was it like people who were low after the challenge are the only ones who are potentially voted out?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, the people who are only safe are Chris and KK, Kendall and Garby, and Justine and Josh. Everyone else is vulnerable. They didn't say how, but it's kind of like obviously lower votes will be vulnerable from that. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, who would you vote for, and who do you hope gets out? I guess.
I want Andreina to stay. I want
So you'd vote for
Ty-
Andreina and Johnny.
I guess if Johnny's with her, yeah. I do want Tyreek to stay. I want Mert to stay. I want Solen to stay. Who else do I want to stay? Oh, of course I want. Oh no, yeah, Chris and KK are good. So KK's good. Um, Kendall and Garby, Justine and Josh. So who's left? I don't really care about. Toby, we don't need Toby at this time because we have a bunch of other great characters.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm like,
yeah,
I feel whatever about Toby being there right now. I do like Nicola. So you know what? I
yeah.
want her to stay. I like she's good TV. Okay, those are so then I guess the people who would leave then, it would be I guess Toby and Andrea are the only people I don't have here in my little list. How about
Yeah.
you?
I think Toby and Andrea, like I think like because I'm obviously they just got there, but I'm also like, like oh Toby did. And I think the other person, honestly, I would say Nicola and Isaiah. Not I enjoy Nicola, but like I think Isaiah is giving me nothing. I think everyone
Yeah.
else, I feel like there's more that could be shown. So I feel like those are the people. I think if I had to vote for someone to be safe, I don't like love them, but I think I feel like there's more from Mert and Selene.
Mm,
And I feel like I don't know if they would get a lot of votes, honestly. So
yeah.
just being from different shows, so someone
Yeah.
I'd think about. But I mean I do. There's other couple that like I don't know. They're not like my top couple, but like strategically, I hope that they have a little more time because Selena hasn't even been in a relationship with anyone who like likes her. You know what I mean? So I'm like, give her a chance, I guess. And Mert is dying to be Lucinda, so I'm like, okay, they you know. So, but yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know. I said, okay, well, okay, then, so now then, what are your predictions? My prediction is that I think Nicola might get voted out because they just don't have the recognition. And it sounds like the Malta season wasn't even
Yeah,
globally known. So it might be, that's my prediction is that it might be them. What do you think?
yeah, I think so. If it's like if it's the lowest are there and they all have to vote who stays, it's a different dynamic. But I think Nicola and Isaiah might, and I think there's a world that Mert and
Mm,
Selene might too. But
mm,
I just don't know the dynamic of the island of like of the villa of how people feel, but I feel like Isaiah and Nicola might be a stronger possibility personally. So unless they're being strategic and then want to have like strong people out,
mm.
so because I'm like Tyreek and Lucinda's there too, so I don't know. I'm curious what the villa will decide if they have to just pick. You know what I mean? So
Okay, yeah, because now I'm counting. I'm trying to see. So, because you're right, they'll probably do something where the public will vote, and maybe the public will save two more couples, and then they'll probably have to choose between two couples to save the
yeah,
villa.
yeah,
So then it probably will be. I'm assuming it'll be between like Solen, Mert, Nicola, Isaiah, and then the villa will have to choose who to save. I feel like they'll probably still. Oh, actually, ooh, that would be good drama because then Lucinda will be sad if Mert gets sent home. I'm trying to think. I can't, between those four, I don't think I've seen them really interact with the rest of the villa too much,
yeah,
except for Mert and Nicola are the only ones I've really seen. But then they're in different couples. So yeah, I'm not really sure who
yeah,
the villa would
yeah.
save.
Agreed, agreed. I don't know. So we'll see though. I'm entertained for sure.
Me too.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Well,
cool.
thank you so much for recapping the first week of Love Island with me. I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun and I really appreciate it. How was
Yeah,
your
of course.
experience?
Hey, it was fun. I had a good time. I'm glad we got to like chop it up a little bit, and it was fun to talk about all of the people, drama, messiness. It was a good time.
Hmm. Well, now is the time for the show where I bring on someone who is unfamiliar with the topic or the TV show I'm discussing, give them a pitch for it, and then they say whether or not they'll watch it. This person is near and dear to both of us, um, almost equally. Just kidding. MC has a deeper relationship with this person than I do, but this person is very important to me as well. Um, Now we're going to bring to the stage someone named Minnie. I have a special sound.
Hey. Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
Well, I had a special sound effect, but I guess we'll do it another time.
No, still do it. Still do it. We can redo that.
No, I'm not
You
editing
can just
this.
edit it. I was just
I'll edit it if I get at least 20 views on YouTube.
okay. That's a good. That's good.
Okay, well, it was gonna be a sound that went blue.
Oh, that would have been perfect for me. I love a plua.
Okay, Minnie, tell us your relationship to Love Island games.
Okay, I did not even know that this was a show until you guys were discussing doing this podcast. I have seen a few episodes of Love Island from the infamous season where all that stuff happened. That's the best you're gonna get from me in terms of description. But Kendall, I remember that name. I do remember that name.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so I am not familiar with Love Island games other than like the brief things I may have heard y'all say.
Okay, so then MC and me and I are going to tag team a 30-second pitch to you for Love Island games.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a
Oh.
calendar on, and it's not a calendar, sorry, a timer.
I was like, what?
Let me get my timer. We will each have 30 seconds to pitch. So I'm going to start my timer. Give me a moment. And by the end of the pitch, you will tell us if you will skip it or click it. We'll just say that.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, time for me starts now. Okay, there's drama. There's global cast members, people from all over the globe, all over the world, except for Africa. And then... oh no, I'm wasting my time. But these people will interact, so you get to hear different accents, see different cultures, but then there's also love, and there's also competition. There's deception, and then there's funniness, there's campiness, lots of great things. I'm going to pitch it over to MC now.
Yeah. So and within that, there are people that literally don't even know that they're there for competition. They're just trying to find love. Half the people literally are trying to see who they can make out with next, and the other half people are being like, "I'm here for money," and they don't even know that between each other. It's something that and. What is most entertaining is that they're in the house, they're figuring it out right now, and you get to vote on it. You get to decide if who stays and who goes based on who you like. That's all you have to do. And you're a part of it.
Okay. That was 1 minute. So, Minnie, based off of that pitch, will you skip it or click it? Love Island Games Season 2.
I will say throughout the pitch, I was going back and forth between click it or skip it. But as the victim of other reality TV shows where production makes terrible decisions, the idea of having control over what happens on my screen is very intriguing. So, given all the circumstances with that as a tilting point, I'm gonna have to say click it for Love Island Games.
Yay! Well, that's the end of the game.
Yay, I did. I won.
And this is basically the end of the episode. I want to say thank you to my guests, MC and Minnie. I will be back with another episode probably next week. Who knows? I'm also going to have more for everyone. I've got some great Korean dramas, Chinese dramas, Turkish dramas, and Dutch dramas to recap. So that's going to come up eventually. And now I'm going to end the podcast in the way that I will end every podcast. Thank you for tolerating my quirk. We acknowledge the existence of quirks because science is real. And instead of goodbye, we say quack.